We're going to Maclay Flats slash Blue Mountain area of Missoula, Montana. As you can see here, I've got my sugar-free Red Bull because I'm not as slim as Jeffree Star. Yeah, so it's a pretty nice wintry day. Pretty clear out. There's some clouds, but it doesn't feel all doom and gloomy like some of the days. I saw my therapist this morning. We started to delve more into my Catholic upbringing of my childhood. That's pretty interesting. She was fascinated with digging through my layers, or she views it as, whoa, there's a lot of layers to dig through, and so I'm just like, whoa, I'm more fucked up than I thought. No, jokes aside, it does make me realize how much my childhood and Catholic cult-like upbringing, as she puts it, has really formed a lot of who I am and interactions and whatnot, so that's kind of interesting. Like, I knew it was a crazy way to grow up, and I've heard plenty of people tell me, like, whoa, is that, like, did that really all happen to you? That's crazy to hear about, you know, certain events that I went through as a child. Yeah, hearing it from a therapist who's like, oh my gosh, we really need to dig through this, and then also wanting my one of my siblings to come in to hear their speculation on it for insight is definitely eye-opening. I love this one-lane bridge here. Pretty awesome. It's just the view of Montana you get here, man. Way different from where I grew up in California. You can see a lot of wildlife back here, turkeys and grouse and whatnot. Yeah, a lot of fly fishermen like to fish on the river here, Clark Fork.
Oh, we've got a doggy whining in the back. Hey. Anyhow, yeah, honestly, I think everyone should have a therapist. I realize that you gotta find the one that fits you, but once you do, it's wonderful. We all have a lot of hard crap that we deal with in life, and you know, a lot of people think they can just pack that shit down and keep on moving on when you don't really realize how much damage you're doing to yourself in the long term and future relationships. And so I like to see a therapist because it's like going to vomit in the proper place. You know, if not that, just kind of express what's been going on in your life, and having a therapist that is kind of nonpartisan in any other part of your life is great. Talking to friends and family is great too, but I really am an advocate for everyone having a therapist if you can get one. But yeah. What's really helped you the most in therapy?
You know, I've had a few different counselors, and I feel like I always learn something new from counselor to counselor. This one in particular right now is my favorite. She definitely seems like she wants to get into the nitty-gritty of my life. Not that the other ones didn't. She seems like to be the one that wants to shed light on a lot of the darker, deeper things than the others. For example, the last one I had really taught me how to instill boundaries, man. If you don't know how to put up proper boundaries and hold to them, people will walk over you and not respect you. And it's harder to hold boundaries with people you love, friends, family. It's harder to stand up to them versus someone you don't really, I guess, care about as much, you know, who's as close to you. I learned from another one that more or less kind of the same thing about boundaries, but, you know, how to have healthier relationships without being a doormat. That was a dark past. But yeah, right now I feel like I'm really learning about how just having the Catholicism shoved down my throat, and being sent to these boarding schools, and you know, just that energy of we got to make our kids Catholic at all costs has really sort of affected me in my relationships. But definitely be learning a lot more about it. But it's I'm glad that I know that I'm being proactive and just trying to be the healthiest, best version of myself. And I encourage everyone to do the same. I feel like I need a straw in this. So, I really started taking therapy a lot more seriously when an ex-girlfriend of mine had been seeing one regularly, and, you know, I had, I guess, this stigma in my head, like, it was for the weak, or people who have problems, or, you know, some sort of, as if it made them less of a human being, when we all, in reality, have problems. It's kind of like, to me, running a virus scan on your mental hardware, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it made me learn the importance of continually having one. And so I've had one ever since. You know, I've gone on and off in between counselors, but then when I noticed things get a little more rough patches in life, and I've always known to, well, I should probably get back into counseling, and I intend to stay with this one as long as possible. She's definitely been great, and I appreciate how she seems to be digging deeper in my childhood when others haven't. But yeah, for me, my drive in it is just to stay healthy and on par with having a healthy life and being the best version of myself, which ultimately we all want to be. So that being said, man, get a counselor if you can. Finding one that really fits with you is definitely key. A lot of people like to get one counselor and write it off, and I think that is foolish, you know, to just give it that one chance and be like, I don't want to do it. But if you can afford it, go for it. If not, then I definitely think you should find that mentor, or whoa. But if you can't get a counselor, definitely get that mentor or family member or person in your life who you do trust to vent to and get advice, because that is worth something as well. You know, don't bottle that shit up, because that'll only implode on you and make things worse. So be proactive.
Chris, what are you doing?
I am one with nature.